Step into the darkness of Dark Alley Story. Terrifying tales await. Hit subscribe and like before it's too late. In 1952 Romania, the remote Carta monastery stood cloaked in mist. Two nuns carried torches through ancient corridors, fear heavy in their eyes as whispers warned of lurking evil beyond. They reached a sealed door covered with holy symbols. One nun, trembling, unlocked it. Darkness surged outward, and a demonic entity leapt forth, dragging her screaming into endless shadow. The surviving nun clutched her rosary, racing through the halls. Knowing she would be possessed, she tied a rope around her neck and leapt from the window into cold morning air. Days later, a farmer named Frenchy discovered the nun's hanging body near the abbey. Horrified, he crossed himself and carried word of the death to the local village authorities. In Vatican City, Father Burke, a priest with experience in exorcisms, was summoned by the cardinal. He was tasked with traveling to Romania to investigate the nun's mysterious suicide. Sister Irene, a young novitiate troubled by visions of demonic figures, was chosen to accompany Burke. Though unordained, her strange visions made her vital to the Vatican's mission. Burke and Irene traveled to Romania, meeting Frenchy, who reluctantly agreed to guide them. The farmer warned of strange events around the monastery since the nun's sudden death. Arriving at Carta, the trio found the abbey shrouded in gloom. Silent corridors echoed with whispers, and crucifixes hung upside down, symbols of desecration that chilled Irene's heart. Inside, they met cloistered nuns praying constantly, claiming their voices kept evil at bay. The abbess insisted they stay the night, though dread seemed carved into her solemn gaze. That night, Burke explored the graveyard and was nearly buried alive by a demonic presence. Irene rushed to save him, pulling him free as clawed hands scraped from the soil. Irene prayed in the chapel when a dark figure attacked. She fled through corridors, seeing spectral nuns slaughtered in visions, as if the monastery was forever stained with death. Burke confessed to Irene his guilt. Years ago, an exorcism went wrong and a boy died. Irene assured him faith would protect them, though shadows whispered otherwise in the halls. The abbess revealed a legend. Long ago, the Duke of St. Carta practiced dark rituals, summoning a demon. Crusaders intervened, sealing it with the blood of Christ in a relic. But bombs in the recent war cracked the abbey's seal, unleashing the demon again. The sisters now prayed constantly, hoping to hold the entity back until divine help arrived. That night, Irene dreamt of a pale nun with glowing eyes. Valak. The demon taunted her in visions, twisting prayers into mockery, spreading terror through every corner of the monastery. Frenchy, searching the grounds, discovered relics hidden in the catacombs. Ancient texts revealed the only weapon, a vial of Christ's blood, sealed and guarded for centuries within stone. Burke and Irene retrieved the relic. As they held it, shadows twisted into monstrous shapes. The abbey shook, doors slammed, and Valak's presence seeped into every stone and whisper. Nuns gathered in desperate prayer, but Valak slaughtered them one by one in ghastly visions Irene endured. Alone, she realized only the relic's sacred blood could banish the demon. In the chapel, Valak manifested, a towering figure in black habit. It hurled Burke aside and closed on Irene. She clutched the vial, praying fiercely as shadows threatened to consume her. Valak seized Irene by the throat, forcing her under rising water. She whispered prayers, then struck, releasing Christ's blood. The water glowed, burning Valak as divine light filled the abbey. Thick storm clouds swallow the monastery. Thunder crashes as a frightened female nun trembles with a lantern. Demonic shadows crawl across ancient walls. Gothic cinematic horror unfolds. In the catacombs below, bones piled high, the female nun walks slowly, clutching a glowing cross. Sinister whispers surrounding her. Cinematic Gothic terror. A demonic wind extinguishes the torches. The female nun screams, her veil ripped away into darkness, and Valak's monstrous female shadow looms tall behind her with glowing eyes of evil. bells of the monastery toll on their own. A massive wooden cross falls from the wall. The female nun ducks in terror as stone walls crack, echoing with dreadful demonic power. A cursed mirror reflects Valak as a female nun with burning eyes and razor teeth. The nun gasps, frozen in horror, as the reflection moves independently, laughing with vile malice. In a candlelit library, books fly wildly through the air, trapping the female nun in a storm of pages, while Valak's female figure rises behind her in a robe of endless darkness. Inside the chapel, smoke fills the altar, bloodstains cover sacred cloth. The female nun kneels in despair. An upside-down crucifix glows red, filling the hall with unholy dread. Graves split open in the monastery yard. Skeletal hands crawl out of the soil. The female nun runs through thick fog, chased by shadows, whispering her name with demonic voices. The female nun hides in a confessional booth, her breath trembling. A demonic voice whispers her name from the other side as Valak's black shadow seeps through wooden cracks. A blood-red moon shines through shattered windows, casting eerie light across the monastery. The female nun's pale face glows with terror as shadows creep ever closer to her. Cold chains rattle from the ceiling, dragging across the stone floor. The female nun looks up trembling as ghostly apparitions float in the air, screaming her name in agony. In the abandoned dining hall, plates crash and knives fly, circling the female nun, who clutches her rosary, praying desperately as Valak's female laughter echoes through the emptiness. Blood seeps from the monastery walls, dripping onto sacred paintings. The female nun gasps as saints' faces melt away, replaced by the grinning visage of Valak's female form. The sound of footsteps follows her in endless corridors. The female nun runs, lanterns swinging wildly, but every door she opens leads her back to the same cursed hallway. Statues of angels in the courtyard turn their heads, their stone eyes glowing red. The female nun screams as wings of stone crack open, revealing monstrous faces of darkness. A river of blood floods the chapel floor, drowning the pews. The female nun clings to the altar as Valak's female silhouette rises from the crimson tide, eyes burning with rage. Candles blow out one by one. Darkness devours the hall. The female nun lights her lantern, only to see Valak's face inches from hers, smiling with horrific hunger. The female nun finds a locked door marked with blood. As she forces it open, dozens of ghostly hands drag her inside, screams echoing as the door slams shut behind her. In the crypt, coffins burst open, corpses wrapped in rotting cloth rise. The female nun prays louder, but the dead crawl toward her, chanting Valak's name in unison. A mirror corridor traps the female nun, endless reflections staring back at her, until Valak's female face replaces every reflection, laughing in a chorus of demonic echoes. The monastery bells toll midnight, doors slam shut. The female nun stands alone, trembling, as Valak's female shadow rises behind the altar, spreading wings of endless darkness. Blood begins to seep from the stone floor, flooding the altar. The female nun falls to her knees, clutching her cross, as ghostly chants echo through the ruined monastery halls. Statues of saints twist into grotesque demonic figures, their eyes bleeding. The female nun screams in terror, backing away as shadows crawl from their stone mouths. A swarm of ghostly hands reaches from the darkness, grabbing at the nun's habit, pulling her toward the catacombs as Valak's laughter echoes, shaking the monastery walls. The torches ignite with black flames, casting unholy symbols on the walls. The female nun sees her shadow twisting into Valak's form, mocking her every move in the darkness. The monastery bell tolls at midnight. Though no one touches it, the female nun covers her ears as demonic whispers merge with its deafening sound, shaking her soul with fear. The library ignites, books flying like birds, pages screaming as they burn. The female nun trapped inside the storm of flames, Valak's shadow towering above the fire. In the catacombs, skulls begin to glow, chanting in unison. The female nun stumbles, clutching her lantern as skeletal figures rise from the walls, chanting Valak's name. The crucifix turns upside down, dripping blood. The female nun cries in horror, stepping back as the altar splits open, revealing a staircase descending into endless darkness. Cold mist rolls through the monastery halls. Each breath of the nun visible, ghostly figures march silently behind her, while Valak's female form watches from the shadows. The nun's lantern flickers, dying out, leaving her in darkness. Faint glowing eyes circle around. She clutches her rosary tightly as Valak whispers her name softly. Statues of angels collapse, their wings snapping off. Stone dust fills the air. The female nun runs through the rubble as Valak's laugh echoes like thunder above. Doors slam shut one by one, trapping the nun inside the main hall. Candles flare with green fire. Valak's female figure walks slowly toward her, eyes glowing with hate. The nun falls to the floor, praying desperately, her voice trembling, but the walls bleed scripture in red. Valak's female face emerging from the blood with a wicked grin. Thunder roars as the roof cracks open, rain pouring inside, the nun drenched and shivering, while Valak's female silhouette towers in the lightning, wings spread wide. Blood floods down the staircase, dragging the nun. She clings to the rail, her scream echoing, while Valak's laughter fills the endless abyss below the monastery. In the crypt, coffins burst open, corpses crawl out. The female nun runs between them, crucifix raised. Valak appears behind her, eyes burning like fire, smile unholy. The ground trembles, cracks, spreading. The nun falls as the monastery splits in two, Valak's female form rising from the abyss, wings stretching across the sky. In the final moment, the female nun screams a desperate prayer. Light bursts from her cross, striking Valak. The demon shrieks as shadows consume the monastery forever.